Just gonna do some canvas.
Yep, thank you. Okay.
Thank y'all for coming today. We have a few minutes before we get started, but I'm Peter Paul. I'm the Dean of the Pharmacy School. We're excited to have you here. It's exciting to be back, kind of somewhat back to a normal. Please, if you will, consider wearing a mask. We are wanting to kind of prevent the continued spread of COVID. We do have masks in the back if you would like that. We'll get going here a little bit. Please remember this will also be live. Sorry, you can't hear me. All right. We will also be live streaming this, so I'll kind of give a cue when we're going to start that up, and it'll be on our YouTube channel. It'll be on there forever, so if you ever want to go back and watch it, you may as well. Thank you. Faye, we ready? Please stand for the processional. Please be seated. Good afternoon. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and alumni, welcome to the White Coat Ceremony for the Medical University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy Class of 2025. I am Philip Hall. I'm the Dean of the College of Pharmacy, and it's an honor to be leading this ceremony today. Class of 2025, today's White Coat Ceremony recognizes your transition from undergraduate education into pharmacy education and ultimately the profession of pharmacy. We are here today under unique and unprecedented circumstances after over a year and a half of a global pandemic. While it feels a little strange to be here with a room full of people, it is great to see all of y'all in person. I'm also delighted to welcome all of the friends and relatives participating via live stream today. Students, the past year and a half have been dramatic testimony to the importance of good health care and the need for excellent pharmacists. Pharmacists have played a key role in the global fight against COVID and will continue to do so. Patients turn to their pharmacists for many things, including medications, both prescription and over-the-counter, medication information, education and reassurance, vaccinations, medical testing, and the list goes on. Pharmacists also play a role in research. Drug discovery is critical in finding new therapies for the treatment or prevention of many diseases, including COVID. In this pandemic, pharmacists have continued to play an essential role in our patients' lives, adding new roles such as COVID testing and COVID vaccine administration to our arsenal to battle the disease. If you were looking for a high-impact career, you've come to the right place. For 140 years, MUSC Pharmacy has stayed on the cutting edge of healthcare education and practice, anticipating and defining the future of pharmacy education. As a MUSC student and future graduate, you join that family and become part of that story. Your journey over the next 4 years looks quite long from where you sit today. But ask our fourth-year students, and you will hear how quickly this will go by. And when you graduate, you will have the proud distinction of being able to say, I am an MUSC pharmacist. I wish you much success and fulfillment in this great profession. At this time, I would now like to call to the podium Dr. Kathy Chessman, Chairman of the Department of Clinical Pharmacy and Outcome Sciences, to introduce the CPOS faculty.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. I apologize if you sat here for an extra couple minutes waiting for me to run over from the Children's Hospital. It's quite a distance these days. Unfortunately, our children don't operate on the same schedule that academics do in the Children's Hospital. So I am, as he said, the chair of the Department of Clinical Pharmacy Sciences, Clinical Pharmacy and Outcome Sciences. Many of you during your interviews heard me say this, and so I apologize if you hear it again, but our faculty are the faculty that are involved in practice. So many of us have a practice like me in the Children's Hospital or in our main hospital, in our family medicine clinics, in our community pharmacies, outpatient clinics, heart failure clinics, infectious disease, drug information, a lot of different areas that we have practitioners in. We also have a section of our department that's geared towards outcome research. So we have several members of our department who specialize in looking at how are we doing? Are we reaching the outcomes that we want to reach with our patients, and how can we better those outcomes? And so I want to introduce you to a few of our faculty. Some of them you may see as Dr. Britton is at the end down there. She's the first one. You will see her this year. You'll see her pretty soon on Monday morning. Next Wednesday. Dr. Britton is an associate professor in our department, and she specializes in community pharmacy practice and ambulatory care. She's the residency program director for our community residency and has been for our AmCare residency for many years in the past, and you will see her in a lot of places: introduction to pharmacy practice, self-care and complementary medicine, some electives. She's a key leader for our Leadership Academy, which is a co-curricular activity. So you will see Dr. Britton a lot. Dr. Bragg is standing next to her. Dr. Bragg is an associate professor in our department, and his specialty is family medicine. And so he rounds with our family medicine service in the main hospital, and he provides a lot of instruction in a lot of different general medicine type areas, particularly in renal pharmacology. And you will see him in when you get your disease processes and therapeutics, and also clinical applications. Next is Dr. Sandra Garner. Dr. Garner is like me. She's a pediatric practitioner in our Sean Jenkins Children's Hospitals. She primarily works in the neonatal intensive care unit, but also splits times with general pediatrics. You'll see her second semester of your first year in the first clinical applications, as well as in pediatrics and in our disease process and therapeutics. Next to her is Dr. Jennifer Wisniewski. Dr. Wisniewski is an assistant professor in our department, and her specialty area is hospital pharmacy practice. She practices at the VA and was a critical care practitioner at the VA prior to coming with us, and she runs our hospital labs. So you will see her next year in hospital lab. And standing next to her with the same last name, Dr. Chris Wisniewski, her husband, is, in case you can't figure that one out. He is one of our specialists in drug information. So his practice is in the hospital in our drug information center, where they also do a lot of other things: informatics, drug information, a lot of things. Chris will be your course coordinator for intro and advanced drug information. Dr. Aaron Wida is next to, and Chris just got promoted to professor. So congratulations to Chris. And then Aaron Wida is one of our outcomes researchers. So she's an assistant professor in outcomes, and you will see her in the outcomes course in the second year. Dr. Jolie Fermo is an associate professor, also specializes in family medicine and ambulatory care, and you will see her in your second year in disease processes and therapeutics, dyslipidemia, and a number of other areas. Next to her is Marwa Al-Nawas. Is that right? Al-Nawas? Close. So Marwa is our first academic fellow. So we just started a fellowship in academics. Marwa, we are partnering with SACM in Saudi Arabia to offer an academic fellowship. And so Marwa just finished our PGY2 residency in ambulatory care last year. She did a PGY1 with us, and she also finished our PharmD program after coming over from Saudi Arabia. So we're very happy that she's our first fellow as well. Dr. Mark LaPointe is next to her. He's a professor in our department with expertise in neurosciences and neurology. He is also a jack of all trades, so you will see him in the third year in clinical assessment, but also in the neurology section of disease processes and therapeutics. And next to Dr. LaPointe is Taylor Morissette, our brand new, started on July the 16th or 19th faculty member. So he's an assistant professor. He just finished PGY2 in infectious disease, as well as 2-year fellowship in infectious disease. So he's just joined the faculty, and you will see him second year in clinical micro, and then a lot of stuff in infectious disease. So welcome to Taylor, our brand new faculty member. And then Dr. Shirley is next to him. And Dr. Shirley is another jack of all trades. We have a few of those in our department. Dr. Shirley is an assistant professor. You will see him in bright and early next week. Calculations, compounding. He also does a lot of law and ethics, a lot of different things that you will see Dr. Shirley for during your time here. There are a few of our faculty members up on the stage. So Dr. Worrell, who you might not know who Dr. Worrell is. Hopefully you figured out Dr. Worrell by now. So she is a professor, associate professor in our department, or professor, sorry. I knew when I said professor was right, and then my piece of paper is wrong. This is why. So she's a professor in our department. She was a nurse and then a critical care practitioner, and then she came over to the college, and as you guys know, is our associate dean for student affairs and a couple other things that go after that. Dr. Hall is actually also a faculty member in our department, so he's the dean of the College of Pharmacy and a professor. And his specialty before he became the dean, anybody know? What do you know? Oncology, very good. First question answered for the day. So his specialty was oncology. He still does, works with you guys in an elective in immunology, and you will see him around quite a bit, so he's around the college a lot. And then Dr. Tran is going to be your faculty advisor for next year, which is why she's on the stage. And Dr. Tran is an assistant professor. Her specialty is acute care medicine, and she practices at the Ralph H. Johnson VA Medical Center for her clinical practice. We also have a couple faculty who aren't here, and I know the dean is going, she's talking too much, she's talking too much. They always say that. Anyway, that's what they get when they tell me I can come up here. So we have a few other faculty that couldn't be here for various reasons. Dr. Nicole Bohm is an associate professor in internal medicine, and you will see her in DPT and pharmacokinetics. I told you, I think I've met all of y'all one time already this week. So I'm in pediatrics, I'm a professor, and you will see me the first day of the second year in disease processes and therapeutics, fluids, electrolytes, and nutrition. Dr. DeClue is an assistant professor who also works at our family medicine pharmacy and is in community and ambulatory care, and you'll see him in Introduction to Community Lab and a few other things. Dr. Jason Haney is an associate professor, paper's wrong again. He's an associate professor specializing in cardiology and practices in ambulatory care in our heart failure clinics with Medical University Hospital. Dr. Shelby Colo is almost as new as Dr. Taylor Morset. She joined us a few months ago, and she joined our outcomes group, and she will be working in the quality department at MUSC. Dr. Nicole Pilch is a professor who works also in outcomes and quality, and her specialty is transplantation. Dr. James Sterrett, who you will see in community practice. He also is very involved in telehealth and works through the Feder community centers, medical centers, and he's an associate professor in our department. And a couple others, Wayne Word and Don Wiest are professor emeriti, and we have people that retire. They don't really like to leave us because we are such a great place to work. And so they will still be here and help you out in a lot of different areas. And also, Shannon's not here. Dr. Shannon Drayton, who is the Assistant Dean for Curriculum and Assessment that you guys have probably met. She's also an associate professor in our department, and her specialty is psychiatry, so she still does teaching in that area. And then the last person is Liz Weed, who also is not here. She is an assistant professor in our department. She is the experiential director, and you will be very much involved with her in your third year when you start picking what rotations you want to do. So I have already welcomed all of you guys a couple times this week, but I want to also welcome all the family and loved ones to the MUSC family. So we're happy that you have chosen to let your loved one spent 4 years with us, and we hope that they will enjoy being here as much as we'll enjoy teaching them over the next 4 years. Thanks.
I would now like to call Dr. Pat Wooster to the podium. He is the chair of the Department of Drug Discovery and Biomedical Sciences.
Thank you. As Dean Hall said, I am Patrick Wooster. I'm the chair of Drug Discovery and Biomedical Sciences. We are the department that will teach you all the foundational basic science courses that have to do with pharmacy. And I do want to say we hold you in very high regard because we held this ceremony after they finished the pile driving for the new building. Otherwise, we'd all be shake, rattle, and rolling in here. So my job, as the dean said, is chair of the department. Our department is a heavily research-oriented department. There are 12 of us. You can see that some of us are not able to come today. I teach in several classes. You'll see me in COP 609 and 611, which are the medicinal chemistry courses. They're actually called Pharm Chem here, but it's the same thing. There's also special project courses that you can take, not just for me, but also for the other researchers. If you have an interest in research, we'd certainly like to have you come up and try your hand in the lab. For some of you who are interested in the dual degree program, you are eligible to take a couple of our graduate courses along the road if you'd like to do that. So there's DDBS 701 and 702. And the pharmacy students tend to do very well in those courses because they've had a lot of that stuff. So you should keep that in mind. Let's see who we have here. First is Dr. Chow. Dr. Chow is an associate professor. He's a medicinal chemist and a chemical biologist. He came from the University of Washington in several positions there. And his office is in the other building, in the QF building. And you'll see him for COP 607, which is dosage forms and drug delivery systems. He also teaches in 609 and 611, the medicinal chemistry courses. And he coordinates the course Pharmaceutical Biotechnology, which you'll have next term. They're not in alphabetical order, so bear with me here. I didn't tell them to, so it's not their fault. You'll find when you get old that your fingers no longer work. All right, so Dr. Yuri Peterson is next. Dr. Peterson is an associate professor. He's also a pharmacologist, medicinal chemist, sort of a hybrid position. Yuri knows everything, so if you have questions, you can just ask him. He can tell you anything about science and probably your horoscope if you'd like to know. His office is here in this building on the 4th floor, room 405. He's right next to me, so I can keep an eye on him. And you'll see him in COP 607. He'll also be teaching in COP 615, which is our biochemistry course. And he also teaches in the biotechnology course. And Yuri interacts with the students quite a bit, so I'm sure you'll get to know him very well along the road. Next is Dr. Danielle Townsend. She's an associate professor in pharmacology, toxicology, and pharmacokinetics. And she also is in charge of what's called a COBRA grant, which is a grant to help promote the careers of young faculty. She has a redox chemistry core for that COBRA, and that takes up most of her time with research. She's also in the drug discovery building here on the 4th floor in room 414. And you'll see her in COP 615, the biochemistry course, and she coordinates biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics, which you'll have next year. Ji Zhang is a full professor of pharmacology and toxicology. And she got her PhD at the other Carolina University, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Dr. Zhang is sort of a toxicologist. She has a research program that involves liver problems that arise from alcohol abuse and things like that. So she has a very interesting program ongoing. You'll see her in COP 603, which is pathophysiology and pharmacology. 713, 715, and 718, these are your disease process and therapeutics courses that you'll get later on. And she also teaches in biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics. And finally, sorry, Eduardo, you got shuffled over here somewhere. Well, I can tell you, Eduardo is an associate professor. He is a pharmacologist and also works in mitochondrial biology. He actually has a background in veterinary medicine and decided at some point to switch over to humans. And you can probably tell he's from Argentina, so he has some interesting stories about his country to tell you. His office is also in this building in room 506. He coordinates the biochemistry course, so you will see him on the first day. I'm not going to mention the people that aren't here because I don't think I brought their little sheets along, but I do want to mention Dr. Ed Soltis. Ed is someone who specializes in education and teaches an astounding number of lectures. So you will certainly see him probably almost every day for the next 4 years, or at least the next 3 years. So I hope you'll stop by and say hello to him. The only other thing I want to say is that we do have opportunities for students to be exposed to research. I think whether you're going to practice clinical practice or go into actual basic science research, it's important for you to see how the scientific method works. Good for you to have that experience and get exposed to research. So feel free to come and see me if you want to learn more about that. I'm in this building in room 404. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Chessman and Dr. Wooster. It is now my pleasure to introduce this afternoon's keynote speaker, Dr. Lori Dickerson. Dr. Dickerson has become one of the industry's most respected and influential voices in the last 3 decades. She is a 1993 graduate of the MUSC College of Pharmacy, as well as completing her residency in family medicine at MUSC. She is currently editor of the Prescriber's Letter and the Pharmacist's Letter and serves as a volunteer clinical professor in the Department of Family Medicine here at MUSC. Dr. Dickerson has served in several leadership roles, usually held by physicians, such as she was the Associate Director for Trident MUSC Family Medicine Residency Program, and was Associate Chair for Academic Affairs in the Department of Family Medicine at MUSC. She's a multi-award-winning medical educator. She is nationally known to advocate for pharmacy and a passionate activist in our community. You can read more about Dr. Dickerson in our program. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dickerson.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's so nice to be here. I do a lot of public speaking, but it's usually over camera these days. So it's really, really nice to be in the room with you all and be back on campus. Thank you, Dean Hall, for your kind introduction and for asking me to speak to the MUSC PharmD class of 2025. It's really an honor to be here today. And Dean Hall asked me to share a little bit about my journey through pharmacy, how I came to pharmacy, how I came to MUSC. So I was thinking about all of you all sitting here before me and how you each have your own story about how you got to this position and how you came to be sitting here in that chair, and how you chose this spot as your place to further your education. So with that in mind, I want to share my story on how I ended up where I am today, because really the MUSC College of Pharmacy took a chance on me, and that's why I'm here. So before I tell you about how I came to choose pharmacy as a career, I have a little story for you and jump ahead to my first day on campus in February of 1991, when I came to MUSC to interview for my post-baccalaureate PharmD, because we were in the post-bac program back then. And I remember so many details of that day and so many details of my interview. I'd never been to South Carolina. I left the bitter cold and literally the hip-high snowbanks of Nova Scotia. Okay, so picture that. It was very windy and very cold. And the stress of my final few months of classes and my exams and trying to figure out what I was going to do with my future. And I flew to Charleston, which I'd never flown alone. This was a big deal. I was blown away by the beauty of the city. This was before the internet, so I had no pictures, right? I had no idea what I was coming to. I'd heard of Myrtle Beach, but that was it. That was all I knew. I remember Dean Cormier in the classroom interviewing us and telling us about his future and the future vision for the college and for clinical pharmacy. I remember several of the clinical faculty. I remember you, Kathy, Kathy Chessman, coming in, and back then we would wear long white coats with these big fabric buttons and pockets full of books and papers, because we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have email. So you carried everything you could possibly need in your pockets, right? And you had a beeper, and the beeper was really cool. We didn't, beepers were, I remember that very, very well. And I remember just being so excited about what the college had to offer and what sort of experience could be in my future. So, and I thought, I'm really going to fall apart if I don't get to come here. It was so exciting. So I returned home to Nova Scotia, and I focused on finishing my classes and exams. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. Because, of course, acceptance letters came in the mail back then, right? So the acceptance letters were to have gone out. I'd counted the days in the calendar, how many days it would take for the mail to come to my dorm and the whole thing. And it didn't come. And so I called the dean's office, and Dean Cormier's assistant, who was sweet Pat Sharp, that some of you all will remember. And she said, "Oh, my dear, there's been a terrible mistake. We didn't hear back from you after we mailed out your letter, and we assumed you didn't want to come, and we've given up your spot. I'm terribly sorry." Well, this was a big ordeal, as you can imagine. It was the morning of our big end-of-the-year a graduation party for the graduating pharmacy students, and it was a big event put on by all the community pharmacy chains in Canada. And everybody was going to stand up on the stage and talk about what they were doing after graduation. And I had nowhere to go. So this was a big deal. The next details are a bit fuzzy. However, I must have been home because Dean Cormier called my apartment and a few hours later that afternoon and said, and I mean, I will never forget what he said. He said, "We only have room for 24 students in the program." That's how small the post-baccalaureate program was at that time. "So we only have room for 24 students in the program. So I'm not sure how this is all going to work, but we're going to make room for 25, and we want you to come." So that was a life-changing moment for me, and I will never, ever forget that. And he didn't have to do that for me, right? And he did, and it was a big deal. So it turns out the MUSC mailroom had not put international postage on my letter, and it came back to the dean's office a few days later, and so that explains the story. So here I am, 30 years later, because really the MUSC College of Pharmacy took a chance on me and increased the class size, and here I am 30 years later. And now they're investing in you, just like they invested in me. And so coming back to what Dean Hall asked me to talk about, it made me think about my guiding principles throughout my career and the things that have helped me make my decisions. And those things would be putting patients first, committing to lifelong learning, and being open-minded to non-traditional roles. So I'm going to talk about a few of those things and hopefully keep you entertained with a few stories along the way. So I first learned about putting patients first at Ryan's Pharmacy, and I think my parents are watching and back home. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. At the drugstore that my mom and dad opened in my very, very small hometown in Eastern Canada in 1970. So I pretty much grew up in the pharmacy, watching my dad work side by side by the one physician in town to care for about 1,000 people in my hometown, and my mother taking care of every need of the customers in the front store. And so, anybody could literally call Dad at any time of the day or night, and he would know what little white pill they were taking and tell them what to do. And anybody could call my mom, and she would whip up these amazing gift baskets from the front store, to give to so-and-so's wife for their anniversary or whatever. I mean, it was a real community-oriented organization, right? When we were old enough, my older brother and I gradually were promoted from filling the pop machine, the soda machine, as y'all call it down here, the pop machine, to working the cash, to working in the dispensary with my dad. My brother graduated from the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy in 1987, and I graduated from Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia in 1991, which is the same school that my dad graduated from with his pharmacy degree in 1965. My parents' commitment to their patients and the community has really been with me every day now of my 30-year career. My brother and sister-in-law now put patients first at Ryan's Pharmacy, running the pharmacy there, and carrying on that 50-year family business. So in the last year of my Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy program, I was exposed to a new way of putting patients first when we had a new faculty member join our program who actually had just finished her PharmD here at MUSC and her residency in family medicine. And it was because of her, Anne Marie Whalen, that I learned about MUSC. And prior to that, we hadn't had clinical pharmacy really teaching our classes. And I was really sort of blown away by how she taught and her stories of working with patients and being on the healthcare team in the clinic setting, in the hospital setting. And I decided that, the post-baccalaureate PharmD was for me, and I needed to figure out how to get down here to do that. And so now, at that time, there were no PharmD programs in Canada, so we had to come to the United States to do our PharmD. And so you know how I got here, and you've heard that part of the story. But that was my journey to MUSC. And now my career has not been typical, so I want to jump to how the MUSC College of Pharmacy has helped prepare me for and help me be open-minded to non-traditional roles for pharmacists. So I did my post-PharmD residency in family medicine, and I learned so much from my mentors, Wayne Wirt, whose name you've heard already and you will meet, and Debbie Carson, who's his partner in crime in the Department of Family Medicine. I learned so much about pharmacy, about being an educator, and just about life. I learned so much about life from them also. I loved working in family medicine. I loved working side by side with the family docs, the nurses, the behavioral scientists to take care of those patients and their families in the center. So after I finished my residency in 1994, I joined the faculty teaching PharmD students in family medicine, and I became the residency director for the pharmacy family medicine program. And then the department chair for family medicine in 1997 or so asked me to join the Department of Family Medicine full-time and be a fully funded faculty member in the College of Medicine. Now at that time, it was a pretty big deal to be asked to do that because most faculty members in the College of Medicine would have been physicians and not pharmacists. So I felt a little, funny leaving my academic home in the College of Pharmacy, but I decided to take that leap, and I moved full-time to the Department of Family Medicine. The teacher in me wanted to focus on teaching family physicians how to help their thousands of future patients. And I realized that putting patients first didn't mean just caring for the single patient in front of you, but it also meant caring for the population of patients that you could impact. So I dove in and became completely immersed in the world of teaching family physicians in the Department of Family Medicine. As Philip said, I had some firsts as a part of that, and I tell you these firsts not to at all be boastful, but to show you what sort of opportunities are out there for you. So I was the first non-physician, the first pharmacist faculty to be hired in the College of Medicine. I was the first woman to be promoted to full professor in the Department of Family Medicine. And I was one of the very few pharmacists nationally who had roles in family medicine leadership. I was the associate program director for the physician training program, the associate chair for research. And again, I tell you those things just to let you know that you're really unlimited with the tools that you're going to leave here with when you graduate from the College of Pharmacy. Now, in 2013, 8 years later, 2013, 8 years ago, I left MUSC to join the editorial team at the Prescriber's Letter and Pharmacist Letter. And you probably haven't heard of the Pharmacist Letter yet, but I'm certain you will because I know the College of Pharmacy has a student subscription waiting for you. And so because I checked, so I know that that's there. Now, the pharmacist letter has been around for 37 years. And now more than 90% of community pharmacists are actually subscribers to the pharmacist letter and read it every month and get their continuing education and learn about new medications. Well, I first saw the pharmacist letter in high school on our kitchen table when my dad started subscribing to the Canadian pharmacist letter in its very first years. So I read it then. I remember reading it on the pharmacy shelves at Dalhousie University, and then I became a subscriber myself when I came to MUSC. And I got involved with their parallel product, the prescriber's letter, when I was teaching family physicians in 2007. So I was offered the chance to join the editorial team of the prescriber's letter. And again, it felt, again, like a little bit of a betrayal. I was leaving my home in family medicine. It was a very difficult decision for me. But I saw this as another opportunity to put patients first by impacting an even broader population, by helping our hundreds of thousands of subscribers help their thousands of patients, by getting good information out about medications to them so that they could help their patients. I was really awed by this incredible group of pharmacists that were all writers for the pharmacist letter that I was going to get to work with, and also the connections that we had nationally and internationally with government organizations and pharmacy and medical groups and just big academic institutions. So I joined the prescriber's letter team. I'm now the lead editor for the prescriber's letter, and I have the pleasure of working with many of the faculty that are here, who I call on with questions about how should we say this or what should we do about this, as well as many of my family physician graduates who are out in the community across the country as our peer reviewers to help us make sure we have our message right. So I've really been able to stay connected to my MUSC community through this new role. So that leads me back to your training. And you'll be seeing, again, some of these resources and other resources that you'll learn about during your training. And it leads me back to the thought of your journey towards lifelong learning. And that's one of the core principles, too, that I want to mention. You're about to take the White Coat Pledge, and that is to maintain the highest academic and scientific standards. And that is a commitment to lifelong learning. I remember back in my early days of the PharmD program when one of the faculty said, half of what we teach you in the next 2 years, so it was a 2-year program, half of what we teach you in the next 2 years will turn out to be incorrect. And the bad news is we don't know which half that is, okay? So this was a big deal, right? But that's when it really hit me about lifelong learning back then. And what you learn today is really just true for today, because information is changing every single day, and nothing really can demonstrate that more clearly than what we've been through in the last 18 months, right? Where we've learned and relearned and adjusted and readjusted information about how we prevent and treat COVID-19. And so this has really been very difficult for the public as they're seeing sort of science change at lightning speed. But this is part of your commitment to lifelong learning, and you've seen it play out over the last 18 months. So if you're guilty, like I was, way back when, of learning for the next exam in your prior studies, prior to coming to the PharmD program, now is the time to change that. Now is the time to learn how to learn, so you can become a lifelong learner. Now, when one of the faculty is teaching you about over-the-counter pain meds, in probably a very soon lecture, picture yourself in the pharmacy helping a patient choose a safe and effective option. Think about what you're learning every single day, because you will be using it with a patient in the future. Every bit of what you're going to be learning, you'll be using with a patient in the near future. So now isn't the time to just learn it to get through the next test. It's your professional responsibility to learn it today, because you could end up working to save someone's life tomorrow. So it's your professional responsibility. And be ready to change your thinking when new evidence comes along. You know, in pharmacy school, you'll all know this one, we learned that beta blockers were contraindicated in heart failure, and if you gave a heart failure patient a beta blocker, they would probably die. Well, it turns out that that was what we thought, and it didn't turn out to be true, and now beta blockers are part of the core treatment for patients with heart failure, reducing their mortality. You have to be ready to change the way you're thinking. There are hundreds of examples just like this, and in fact, probably half of what I learned in PharmD school, right, where things have totally changed. So be prepared for that. So now is your time to focus on learning how to learn so you can care for your patients. They are your patients. Think about that. They are your patients. and is your responsibility because you will be an integral part of that healthcare team. And you're fortunate that the faculty here will prepare you like no other to become an excellent pharmacist because they're here to invest in you and they've taken a chance on you just like they took a chance on me. So, a few final tidbits to close with. This program and material will be difficult. Don't wait to ask for help. Don't hesitate to ask for help. The faculty want to help you be the best pharmacist that you can be. They want to help you be successful. They're invested in you, so ask for help. Just walk on into their office and get to know them and ask for help. Don't be afraid to do that. Get involved in the College of Pharmacy, in MUSC, and in the community around you. Start to give back to your profession already, even as a student, by sharing your time and your knowledge and the expertise that you're gathering along the way. Carry that giving back throughout your career. Learn from everyone around you, not just the faculty. The lessons I learned from our residency coordinators and the staff in the dean's office were just as important as what I learned in the classroom. Learn from everybody around you. And don't be afraid to talk to your patients. Learn to listen to them also. Don't make assumptions about what they are doing or what they aren't doing. You will be amazed at what they will teach you and how it will help you be a better pharmacist. So thank you, Dean Hall, for having me here today and for this opportunity to speak to the PharmD class of 2025, to share some of my thoughts about putting patients first, becoming lifelong learners, and being open to non-traditional roles. And I hope it was helpful to all of you out here to hear some of our stories. And I truly look forward to working with you as you become readers of the Pharmacist Letter and we work together in that role. So congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you, Dr. Dickerson, for providing our entering class with an excellent introduction to their pharmacy education. We are honored to have you with us this afternoon, and on behalf of the college, it's my pleasure to present to you a small token of our appreciation. If you didn't read her bio, Dr. Dickerson is also our distinguished alumnus from this past year. So as you heard her story, you certainly understand why she was bestowed that honor. I would now like to invite Dr. Emmeline Tran, the class of 2025 faculty advisor, to the podium to discuss the symbolism of the white coat.
Before I get started and kind of get into the historical perspective of a white coat and the white coat ceremony, I did just want to take a moment to say how much it is a privilege to serve as your class advisor for the next couple of years. It's so much fun for me to see students grow, and just to be along your journey is an honor. Thank you. I also just want to say thank you to the audience out there, family, friends. I knew that I wouldn't have made it through pharmacy school without the support of them. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for our students. All right, so I'll get into a little bit more of the formal presentation. So healthcare professional schools first began celebrating white coat ceremonies in the early 1990s. So really not that long ago if you think about medicine and its historical perspective. The first pharmacy white coat ceremony was performed in 1995 at the University of Kentucky. And today, most pharmacy schools across the country hold similar events. I still remember my white coat ceremony from years ago. The white coat holds so much symbolism in the health professions, and as a symbol to your patients, the white coat represents several different concepts. First, it indicates membership in the practice of pharmacy. You will now be recognized as a member of one of the most trusted professions. Your colleagues and patients will trust you greatly because of the diligence and commitment of those pharmacists who have come before you. It's your duty to maintain that trust. Second, it signifies your pledge to maintain the highest academic and scientific standards. The continuous advancements in medicine and drug discovery compels pharmacists to be lifelong learners, as Dr. Dickerson had just mentioned. Third, it symbolizes an immense responsibility to maintain a high ethical standard as a servant leader. You should always prioritize your patient's needs above your own, and our job is to serve the public, our patients, and our healthcare colleagues with respect, compassion, and humility. May the white coat be a symbol to you as well. Being a pharmacist starts today. While you may not shoulder all the responsibilities of being a pharmacist, your lifelong journey starts now as you learn, make mistakes, and grow. Be thankful and humbled to be part of this highly respected profession. I want you guys to think about each time when you put on that white coat, remember what an honor and responsibility it is to be entrusted to take care of others. I hope that you can all reflect on the significance of your step today and make a commitment to yourself and the profession. Your white coat should serve as a symbol to your commitment to making significant contributions to healthcare and helping people lead healthier lives. Welcome, and we wish you much success. I would now like to invite Matish Patel, Honor Council representative for the class of 2023, to the podium for his remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Tran. Class of 2025, as you receive your white coat this afternoon, you will also be signing the Pharmacist Code of Ethics. This is an important tradition at MUSC and at pharmacy schools across the United States. The Pharmacist Code of Ethics dates back to 1848, when the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy established the first code. As the practice of pharmacy has evolved throughout the years, the American Pharmacists Association has published several renditions to this code. The current Pharmacist Code of Ethics was established in 1994 and is printed in your program. It reads, "Pharmacists are health professions who assist individuals in making the best use of medications." This code, prepared and supported by pharmacists, is intended to state publicly the principles that form the fundamental basis of the roles and responsibilities of pharmacists. These principles, based on moral obligations and virtues, are established to guide pharmacists in relationships with patients, health professionals, and society. A pharmacist respects the conventional relationship between the patient and pharmacist. A pharmacist promotes the good of every patient in a caring, compassionate, and confidential manner. A pharmacist respects the autonomy and dignity of each patient. A pharmacist acts with honesty and integrity in professional relationships. A pharmacist maintains professional competence. A pharmacist respects the values and abilities of colleagues and other health professionals. A pharmacist serves individual, community, and societal needs. A pharmacist seeks justice in the distribution of health resources. In a few moments, you will sign the Pharmacist Code of Ethics before receiving your white coat. As you do this, reflect on all the hard work and dedication that brought you to this point, and which will carry you through the next 4 years of pharmacy school. It sure does go by fast. Reflect on those who came before you and the responsibility that comes with the Doctor of Pharmacy degree. Remember both the MUSC Honor Code that you have already signed and the Pharmacist Code of Ethics that you are about to sign are not merely words. They are codes of integrity, principles, and professionalism. Allow these two important codes to define your behavior as students and pharmacists. I look forward to meeting each of you as you officially join us at the College of Pharmacy. Now I invite Dr. Hall and Dr. Worrell forward to present the white coats.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I just want to say how much I have enjoyed getting to know the entering class this summer and over the course of this week when we got to be in person finally, and just really looking forward to building on those relationships over the next 4 years. Students, please prepare for the hooding, or not hooding, that's at the end. Sorry, please prepare for the white coat ceremony. That 4 years went really fast, didn't it? All right. When I call your name, please come forward to sign the Code of Ethics and then proceed to Dr. Hall to receive your white coat. Courtney Anderson. Courtney is from Dawsonville, Georgia, and attended the University of Georgia. Zachary Arcelona. Zachary is from Miramar, Florida, and attended Nova Southeastern University. Nicholas Arosamena. Nicholas is from Orlando, Florida, and attended the University of Central Florida and Valencia College. Mackenzie Boyd. Mackenzie is from Loganville, Georgia, and attended Augusta University. Shaheem Brown. Shaheem is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Mary Christine Buhner. Mary is from Johns Island, South Carolina, and attended the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Casey Carl. Casey is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended Trident Technical College. Catherine Castillo. Catherine is from Columbia, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Danica Cheney. Danica is from Bluffton, South Carolina, and attended Tusculum University. Janie Cole. Janie is from Middleton, New Jersey, and attended the College of Charleston. Cassidy Cross. Cassidy is from Honiopath, South Carolina, and attended Erskine College. Chloe Dawson. Chloe is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended Trident Technical College. Diane Delacruz. Diane is from Stafford, Virginia, and attended Virginia Commonwealth University. Frederique Douay. Frederique is from the Ivory Coast and attended Indiana University at South Bend. Andrea Naomi Edwards. Andrea is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended Trident Technical College. Salima Elamine. Salima is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended Trident Technical College. Benjamin Anthony Emery. Benjamin is from Lexington, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Rodrix Tyreek Fobbs. Rodrix is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended the College of Charleston. Cameron Fox. Cameron is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Dalton Fox. Dalton is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Madeline Frelick. Madeline is from Asheville, North Carolina, and attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Haley Grant. Haley is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Sydney Heron. Sydney is from Clover, South Carolina, and attended the College of Charleston. Reagan Hill. Reagan is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended Claflin University. Dorothea Monica Hoffler. Dorothea is from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and attended Atlantic Metropolitan State College. Colin Hux. Colin is from Anor, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Victoria Isgett. Victoria is from Plant City, Florida, and attended St. Leo University. Sydney Jablonski. Sydney is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Kaylani Jackson. Kaylani Jackson. Kaylani's from Goose Creek, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Kalaya Johnson. Kalaya is from Walterboro, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina at Beaufort. Regine Johnson. Regine is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended Claflin University. Haley King. Haley is from Sacramento, California, and attended Sonoma State University. Anderia Lewis. Anderia is from Marion, South Carolina, and attended Francis Marion College, or University. Sorry about that. Sydney McGrath. Sydney is from Raleigh, North Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Renee Mayo. Renee is from Columbia, South Carolina, and attended the College of Charleston. Morgan Marie McKinney. Morgan is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Sherry Ivana McLam. Sherry is from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and attended Jacksonville University. Ayana Mitchell. Ayana is from Adams Run, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina at Beaufort. Carly Mitchell. Carly is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Jory Morgan. Jory is from Punta Gorda, Florida, and attended Hillsborough Community College. Whitney Morrison. Whitney is from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and attended Beville State Community College. Kyla Mosher. Kyla is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended Trident Technical College. Kashana Mosey. Kashana is from Winsboro, South Carolina, and attended Winthrop University. Lois No Fagiani. Lois is from North Charleston, South Carolina, and attended MUSC College of Nursing. Christian Nicole Nobles. Christian is from New Bern, North Carolina, and attended East Carolina University. Noah Davis Nussbaum. Noah is from Moncks Corner, South Carolina, and attended Charleston Southern University. Casey Christine Obermeyer. Casey is from Greenville, South Carolina, and she attended Clemson University. Ryan O'Connell. Ryan is from Clawson, Michigan, and attended the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Aisha Patel. Aisha is from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Autumn Philbeck. Autumn is from Gaffney, South Carolina, and attended the College of Charleston. Elizabeth Rushali Polakuri. Elizabeth, or Rushali, is from Florence, South Carolina, and attended Francis Marion University. Pragya Rajpurohit. Pragya is from Augusta, Georgia, and attended the University of South Carolina at Aiken. Supriti Samantari. Supriti is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended Jadapur University. Kaylee Simon. Kaylee is from McLean, Virginia, and attended the Pennsylvania State University. Marcina Scanteris. Marcina is from Charlotte, North Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Taylor Smalls. Taylor is from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and attended Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College. Sarah Smith. Sarah is from Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, and attended Clemson University. Kayla Michelle Snipe. Kayla is from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Kiravani Srinivasan. Kiravani is from Charlotte, North Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Riley Sumner. Riley is from Anderson, South Carolina, and attended Anderson University. Benaya Taylor. Benaya is from Charleston, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Dana Van Houten. Dana is from Summerville, South Carolina, and attended the College of Charleston. Maren Vanderschaff. Maren is from East Rogue, New York. Oh, I know I killed that. And attended Washington College. Shema Varghese. Shema is, I only have Maryland on here. I'm sorry, Shema. I don't have a city. And she went to school at Montgomery College. David Wallace. David is from Aiken, South Carolina, and attended Anderson University. Bailey Wells. Bailey is from Anderson, South Carolina, and attended University of South Carolina in Beaufort. Zipporah Williams. Zipporah is from Columbia, South Carolina, and attended the University of South Carolina. Morgan Wright. Morgan is from Irmo, South Carolina, and attended Anderson University. Evan Young. Evan is from Oakboro, North Carolina, and attended the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. Students, please rise. Please join me in welcoming the class of 2025, Medical University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. Students, please remain standing. I'm going to call Dr. Tran back to the podium to lead you in the Pledge of Professionalism.
Right. I would like to invite all pharmacists who are here and those watching the ceremony on the live stream to stand as well as we recite the Pledge of Professionalism. Students, please raise your right hand as we recite the pledge together. As a student of pharmacy, I believe there is a need to build and reinforce a professional identity founded on integrity, ethical behavior, and honor. This development, a vital process in my education, will help ensure that I am true to the professional relationship I establish between myself and society as I become a member of the pharmacy community. Integrity must be an essential part of my everyday life, and I must practice pharmacy with honesty and commitment to service. To accomplish this goal of professional development, I, as a student of pharmacy, should develop a sense of loyalty and duty to the profession of pharmacy by building a community, one able and willing to contribute to the well-being of others, and one who enthusiastically accepts the responsibility and accountability for membership in the profession. Foster professional competency through lifelong learning. I must strive for high ideals, teamwork, and unity within the profession in order to provide optimal patient care. Support my colleagues by actively encouraging personal commitment of the oath of and code of ethics as set forth by the profession. Incorporate into my life and practice dedication to excellence. This will require an ongoing reassessment of professional values. Maintain the highest ideals and professional attributes to ensure and facilitate the conventional relationship required of the pharmaceutical caregiver. The profession of pharmacy is one that demands adherence to a set of rigid ethical standards. These high ideals are necessary to ensure the quality of care extended to the patients I serve. As a student of pharmacy, I believe this does not start with graduation. Rather, it begins with my membership in this professional college community. Therefore, I must strive to uphold these standards as I advance towards full membership in the profession of pharmacy. Right. Students, please be seated. I would like to call Dr. Hall back to the podium for his closing remarks.
This concludes the class of 2025 White Coat Ceremony. I want to thank the families, the faculty, staff, and friends who participated in today's ceremony here on campus and via live stream. I would also like to thank the MUSC Alumni Association for sponsoring the white coats for the students this year. Congratulations again, class of 2025. We look forward to seeing you in class next week. Have a great afternoon. Please remain seated for the recession of the students. Again, thank you for attending. Have a great afternoon.